Hey, it's Doofy Doo coming at you from the DC Metro's #1 source for all Shiren all the time. Hot episode 108 DDTT. Hello and welcome back to Phase Final Puzzle and Shiren the Wanderer. So many things are happening now. I'm talking about non-Shiren the Wanderer type things. Things are happening in Shiren too. I have a melding jar. Last episode I spawned on top of a hide shield. So I think I have enough shields now to meld myself some more equipment. I'm getting kind of antsy about carrying around this melding jar for so long. So I am going to take out especially this evasive shield. Once I meld on this evasive shield, I'm going to be ducking and dodging and weaving. Monsters won't be able to lay a claw on me. So that looks pretty good. Also, I'm going to meld this crescent arm to my master sword, and I'm going to meld another hide shield to the armor ward. Remember, I only melded one hide shield to the armor ward to get rid of that weakness it had for lowering your hunger quickly. So if you meld two hide shields on an armor ward, it actually acts like a regular hide shield. So as the kitchen god is my witness, I'll never be hungry again. Extra damage to exploding monsters. I wonder if that means it'll do extra damage to my I'm not gonna make that joke. Not gonna make that joke. But yeah, crazy things are happening. I don't know what it is about my life. Like I can go for a couple months just having a happy life, nothing going on, just relaxing, chilling out, and suddenly this month everything happened at the same time. My mom decided to take a job in Afghanistan, so I have to go down to Texas and drive her car back up here to keep it here while she's over there. My dad decided to go to Toronto with his girlfriend, so I'm taking care of some stuff at his place while he's gone. My Mac Mini, which has provided me loyal service for over a decade, finally kicked the bucket. Well, it didn't kick the bucket, but it had a kernel panic crash, so I'm trying to debug that to get some new RAM. I'm going to see if that's the problem first. So that's why there's no custom thumbnail, because I do all my image editing on my Mac Mini. But my loyal laptop from Craigslist is still chugging away, so I can still record these episodes. Oh, there is a disadvantage of melding the crescent arm. Doing extra damage to a one-eyed exploding enemy. Maybe his name is Willy. Oh, I promised I would make that joke. Alright. So actually, if I didn't meld the crescent arm, I probably would have been able to freeze that spiky bomb, but now I'm doing so much damage, just 2 hits makes them blow. What else is going on? The Pope is coming, the air show is coming, all kinds of crazy things happening, so I have just had no time to do anything. But I have made some time this week to make the next episode of Shiren the Wanderer. What floor am I on here? 37. So I just used my melding jar. I feel a little relieved about that. I don't have to be panicked about it possibly getting broken or destroyed somehow. I still don't have a strengthening jar, but I have a revival herb, so I'm not really that worried. Come on. I can die one time, I'll be just fine. Some people are so confident that they put their revival herb away in a jar to make some more room until they're in a dangerous situation and then they take it out. But I am just so forgetful. I just leave it out. Alright, let's see. I got an unID'd scroll. Ooh, I got an herb of victory too. I'm in good shape. And I have a molasses size, which remember is my name for the passage armband, so I can escape if there's any water nearby. You can already see what a huge help it is to meld the evasive shield. Even if you don't find the strengthening jar until really late in Phase Final Puzzle, if you've melded an evasive shield and a spike ward, you're pretty much set. Look at this guy. He's missing left and right. So you can last a lot longer in an encounter with an enemy with an evasive shield, obviously, but just wanted to drive that point home. This episode, I will be going over the 10th and final life lesson for Shiren the Wanderer, and that will officially end the instruction portion of this talk-through. It's pretty much all I had on the docket for life lessons. Some other things might come up, like I was going to talk about retirement planning, believe it or not, because I'm getting to that point in my life. when I got my strengthening jar, but I haven't found one yet. So when I get a strengthening jar, if I get a strengthening jar, I will talk a little bit about retirement planning, but that's not going to take long. It's basically the common sense stuff. So after this, we're going to move on to phase 2 of the talk through. And I did plan for this in case it went extra long, which it seems to be doing. It's almost my birthday again in like a couple months. And I started Phase Final Puzzle on my birthday last year. If you told me last year that in a year I would still be in Phase Final Puzzle, I'd probably say something like, that's entirely possible, because Phase Final Puzzle is pretty difficult. And I'm only playing like once or twice a week, so it's taken a while, but I have beaten Phase Final Puzzle in the past. It's not like I'm a newbie, and it's still taken me like almost a year, and I still haven't beaten the dungeon. So this is a serious commitment. I wasn't joking when I called this the Everest of video gaming. Although I just watched this documentary called Meru. Hey, there's an armband. I think I have a slot left in my identity jar. So I'll go ahead and pick this up, shove it in there, see what it is. I hope it's the sleep. Oh yes, everything's coming up, Millhouse. My very last slot in my identity ID is a sleepless armband. Remember, you want to have a sleepless armband before you hit floor 46, because that's when radishes show up, sleep radishes. So that's great. I can get rid of all these stupid armbands. Don't need you, armband of loss. Restless might come in handy. Antidote, pretty much worthless, so I'll keep this restless. This dog scroll, got 2 empty spaces in my holding jar, but I want to keep them open in case I find more loot on this floor. So I'm just going to toss this over by the stairs, I think. Then I won't forget to read it before I leave. It's a little dangerous to read it now because I honestly don't have a checklist, so I've forgotten if I ID'd hands full and all the, what is it, sealing or mouth shut, whatever that scroll is called that seals your mouth shut. The scroll of silence. I don't know if I've ID'd those yet. I probably have, but my memory is terrible, so if it's one of those, you don't want to read that at the very beginning of the floor because you can't pick up any loot or read your scrolls. So I'll read that when I'm all ready to go. This episode I'm going to go over the 10th and final lesson. Last episode I went over lesson number 9, which was don't give up. This week's lesson, the final lesson, is also very trite, and you're going to roll your eyes a little bit, but the lesson is have fun. And it's at odds with the previous lesson. Don't give up, but make sure you're still having fun. A lot of people get really obsessed about making progress, especially achievers, but killers too sometimes. You know, they want to get better, they want to conquer things, they want to, oh, I was talking about that documentary Meru, so those guys clearly were obsessed. Anytime you think you're doing something that's really difficult and challenging and you're having a tough time, think about those guys that climbed Meru. Those guys are hardcore. But yeah, they do it and they're obsessed with it, but it's fun for them. You can tell even when they're hanging off a sheer cliff, getting pummeled by wind, running out of food. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Shiren the Wanderer. But no, much more difficult than Shiren the Wanderer. They still have a good time. They're still enjoying themselves in some sense, somehow. I'm just going to slow down this spiky round because I really don't want to fight it. I could unequip my sword and try to freeze it and all that, but I'm too lazy to do that, okay? I'm just going to waste a charge on my sloth and hopefully, won't run into any bad enemies. Kidney 4. Kidney 4 I don't think can one-hit me. That would be kind of insane, so we'll see. Yeah, 54 is a lot, but I could take a couple of those. You have to be careful though. When a kidney gets up to like kidney 7, kidney 8, sometimes they just like one-hit you and you're not expecting it. Yeah, it's important to have fun. So some people get so obsessed with beating a really difficult game that it just isn't fun anymore. And at that point, I think you need to step back. You don't give up, but you take a break. And I've done that lots of times on my path to becoming, I wouldn't say a Shiren the Wanderer master, but to beating all the difficult dungeons in Shiren the Wanderer. Certainly Phase Final Puzzle. Let's see what this is. Oh, Great Hall Scroll. So yeah, that would have been a little dangerous to read right away. All the monsters in the entire dungeon make a beeline for me. Hehehe, and dodged him. Yeah, so just have fun. If it's not fun anymore, then don't do it anymore. And that is not contrary to the zeitgeist. In fact, I think have fun is sort of overrepresented in popular culture. A lot of times people don't want you to think or work or struggle at all. If anything gets difficult in the slightest, you just stop and move on to something else. And that's not good either. But it's not good to go too far in the other direction and to become so obsessed with doing something difficult that you just don't have any fun or you don't enjoy yourself. You don't want to get obsessed with this like grand purpose you have to your life and you must achieve it at all costs, even if your life is completely miserable. I mean, there is something to be said for making life better for other people and helping out the people around you, your family, your friends, society at large. But if you're just completely miserable all the time, and I know some people like this, they fill their schedule with so much junk. They have to be productive all the time, or else they feel like they're wasting time. They just never relax. And I don't know if that's, I guess it's just up to your personality, but that just seems like kind of a sad life to me. I don't know. Sometimes you gotta fall on a stumble trap and laugh at yourself. Have a good time. So it's important to have fun. Oh, and speaking of having fun, Pokeforce, who sounds like he might be a fan of the Pikachu, said last episode in the comments that he had started a live stream of this game. And I mentioned to him that anytime you do any kind of talk through, let's play, live stream of an old, obscure, at least in the West, game like this, it's important not to get too obsessed with having a lot of people watching. As long as you're having fun, you, the person making it, are having fun, then that is the most important thing. Hey, an equip trap. Let's see. This is a walrus shield, and it's not cursed. That'll be good to meld too. But yeah, I still have fun playing this game, and I have fun talking to myself. And I think if you can find a few weirdos that are actually still into this game, and you're having fun, then that's the most important thing. Alright, let's see. I'll see if I can make it to floor 40 before I stop. 100% carbs. That could be useful for some undead mages. I have this old jar, this bottomless jar. I haven't named it yet. I better name it before I toss it. I'm going to toss it and see if it's a storehouse jar or a real bottomless jar. I went ahead and named it the same thing as the other bottomless jar I had, which was a bad thing to do. But only because I'm not going to use it. If you really want to make a Phase Final Puzzle run easy, name all the jars something distinct. I did the same thing with the venting and Guy Bar's jar, just because I'm lazy this run. Let's see what it is. I'll go ahead and toss it. Yep, it was an actual bottomless jar. So obviously, if you're in a shop and you have one of those, you pick up everything in the shop, throw the jar, fall down the bottomless pit, and easy peasy, you have stolen everything. So that would make this run super easy if I started doing that. Not gonna do that, but certainly you're welcome to do that if you would like to. Maybe if I get really desperate at the end of this run, I'll go back on all these promises and I'll be using armbands of sight and bottomless jars and a million strengthening jars, but I don't want to make this run ridiculously easy. Alright, made it. I thought he was gonna miss 3 times. Next episode, I will do a quick recap of the 10 life lessons of Shiren the Wanderer, and then we will move into phase 2, the more creative phase of this talk through. Oh yeah, I had it planned out for a long time. So you shall find out what this was all for, all this weird instruction. So I will see you then. Goodbye. I'm a lost man, full of bitter herbs, waiting for a moment to use my melding jar. And when I do, I'll finally be invincible. But there's a walrus coming. I can almost feel it. My favorite loot. He's going to steal it.
I'll never be hungry again.